And joining me right now on Political Connections is Al Fox. He's a Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate in Florida. Good to see you, Mr. Fox. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. I know in the past we have talked on issues regarding Cuba. You're here in Tampa and you're very well versed on that. I know you've been to the island more than 100 times, so often that is something that we discuss with you when the topic of Cuba comes up. But now you are running for U.S. Senate in Florida, so I just wanted you to tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you decided to run now.
Thank you again, Ollie, for having me. And the simple answer is, if not me, who? I was very privileged to have spent a distinguished 40-year career in Washington, D.C. I'm just an old retired guy, and politics is kind of my hobby now. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. But the events of January the 6th, the insurrection on our Capitol, was very personal for me. I happened to be watching it live, and I was just shocked. I just couldn't believe that the corridors and the halls where I walked and worked was being attacked in such a manner. And then simultaneously at that time, others have been talking to me about perhaps making a run at this, but I wasn't there. But 2 days later, after the insurrection, the young man that committed suicide, Howie Liebengood, was 51 years old, Capitol policeman. I had known him since he was 10 years old. And then this became very personal for me. I just could not believe it. And so, again, as a friend of mine said, you know, if not me, who? And why not do it? I don't need anything. If I win, if I lose, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. And I'm hoping that I can contribute something with the vast experience that I have had, unique experiences, not because I'm so smart, but because I was very fortunate and blessed to literally be at the right place at the right time. And a little boy from Ybor City, from humble beginnings, with a mother that worked in a cigar factory, and a father that was a blue-collar worker, I ended up spending 40 distinguished years in Washington, D.C. So that was a long answer, but the short answer was, if not me, why not? Not me, who?
And I know that you've been rather frustrated that Val Demings, who you're running against in the primary, as well as several other people, has sort of been the anointed one by the national and state party and media as well. She's raising money certainly to reflect that. Lots of money raised, even outraising Marco Rubio. You have had some frustrations with that.
I have, and I think it's a huge blunder that my party makes. Val Demings was selected for this position by the party elders, so to speak. And we used to make those decisions in a back smoke-filled room by a bunch of white guys drinking bourbon. And so to get out of that system, we created this primary system. Let 3, 4, 5, 6 Democrats run. Let them go at it. Whoever wins that is then the nominee of the party. But what my party has now done is they've gotten out of the smoke-filled room and they've just gone right out in public. They have raised $25 million for Val Demings in the last 12, 13, 14 months. I don't believe Val Demings is ever going to beat Marco Rubio. I believe the kind of campaign that she's running by everywhere she goes. She says, I'm running against Marco Rubio. She's not running against Marco Rubio. She's running in a Democratic primary against 6 loyal other Democrats. Now, she's clearly the odds-on favorite. I get all of that. But let us go at it. Let us have our own debate. Let us discuss the issues. And when she wins that, then we'll all band together and support whoever that person is. I can tell you, I will not be supporting Val Demings under this system. And I think it is dishonest and dishonest for my party that a handful of people made the decision. And this money that she's raised, they use Marco Rubio's notoriety across the country as a sitting United States Senator to raise money to run against me and the other Democrats. I just find that dishonest.
What do you see as most pressing right now? Is it the economy? Is it inflation? Is it the war in Ukraine? Is it the border? Is it just the general climate of our politics that you discussed when you watched January 6th happen? What is it to you?
I think there's 2 things. The economy, of course, the economy is always a number one in people's minds, and as it should be. But the toxic political environment, Ollie, in our environment today by both parties, I mean, shame on them. It's completely out of hand. And there is an obsession with money in American politics today. They've already raised 25 million for Valdez. I think that's going to be all money wasted at the end of the day. Caesar's probably going to raise another 25 million. And so I want to get money out of politics, but I want Floridians to understand that in the areas in which I am an expert, excuse the arrogance, I want to share my experiences with them. And in the areas where they are expert, where they know more than me, in me they have a great listen. And so I think the economy is a thing. I think both parties politicize inflation. Inflation goes up and down, you know, certainly in the last 50 years, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. It's something that we just have to deal with, but we have to stop politicizing. And the war in Ukraine is something else. We're blaming everything. We blamed everything 2 years ago on COVID. We didn't have this because of COVID. We didn't have that because of COVID. And yet, the richest in our society have doubled their net worth. I find that just unconscionable, that the 10 richest people in America have doubled their net worth. When I'm talking about, if you were worth $300 billion 10 months ago, you're now worth $600 billion. But the person who's worth $5,000, his or her net worth has gone down and not up. And these are things that are complicated, and they have to be decided by consensus by both parties. But both parties rather destroy each other than accomplish anything for Floridians or for the American people. And I just think that America, we're sitting on a fence here. And I want to have the opportunity to explain to the American people that if you look at the history of the world, the Roman Empire, Great Britain, Spain, France, the days of Genghis Khan, they all ruled the world at one time. Today, they don't rule anything. What happened? Their leaders became fat, lazy, and greedy. And I'm very concerned that that's what's happening to America today. America could be a second or a third-rate power in 5 to 10 years. And that scares me.
That is a scary thought, and that is a topic I think we could talk a whole lot more on. I wish we had more time. Unfortunately, we're out of time for today, but Al Fox, candidate for U.S. Senate here in Florida as a Democrat, we appreciate your time and always enjoy talking to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. You have a great program.
Thank you.